Hello everyone, I am Ravi, an English literature teacher. Today we are going to discuss about the possible ways of studying history of English literature. Today we have with us Mr. Alok Mishra, who will be answering all the questions.
Yeah, I'll be taking on the questions that Ravi has prepared on behalf of you, the visitors, as well as all those who have just begun studying history of English literature as their first year program in different universities. So I'll be taking the questions that Ravi has prepared one by one and also some of the interjections or some of the diversions that Ravi might have on your behalf or on his personal behalf. So, Ravi, why
Yeah,
don't we just get it started?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
what are your questions about those
yeah.
topics or
Uh,
anything?
I notice
Hmm.
Alok,
Hmm.
mm, beginner who have enrolled in BA program.
Yeah.
Uh, they first confront with a question,
Hmm.
what is history of English literature? They often come up with this question.
Yeah, Ravi, this is a very natural question that should arise as soon as somebody starts studying history of English literature. So, the first thing that you hear when you enroll for a BA English honors program, this is the basic question, Ravi. Like, what is English literature? Why am I studying it? What is it? What it might be? Why my teachers are pressing me so much to study this thing? So, to all such questions, there is a very simple, short, and pleasant answer. History of English literature is nothing more than records of various literary personalities, literary figures, and literary creations that could have been important, that is important, and that will be important for a long, long time to come. So, this is the basic answer, Rabi, that I could come up with.
Yeah,
So, do you think there is something that we can add more to make it more emphatic or make it more comprehensive?
sometimes many students I noticed that
Mhm.
they ask authors, writers can be categorized or
Mhm.
classified
Mhm.
within time
Time frame or timeline,
time
the timeline of history of English literature. So,
literature.
when we talk about the timeline, Ravi, and when we talk in the same breath, history of English literature, then we are indicating towards a timeline. History is based on timeline. So, when we talk about categorization, classification, or differentiation of authors in various ages or according to different patches of time on this line which is called history of English literature. For example, when we talk about the Elizabethan age, I think this is also regarded by many of the critics, scholars, and historians who have recorded history of English literature. They call Elizabethan age the golden age of English literature for many regions. So that is Elizabethan age is also known as the age of Shakespeare and the
Shakespeare,
theatre.
yeah.
When we come down, then there is a Restoration age. The Restoration age is basically about the event. Event was that the monarch was restored, and when we talk about the age after Shakespearean age, so the more prominent, other than anyone which was there, was the Restoration period.
Yeah, look here. I would
Yeah,
like to ask a question
sure, sure, Ravi, go ahead.
that a student can
Hmm.
may
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure,
raise.
sure, sure.
Uh, we have records of authors,
Mhm,
writers.
mhm.
Uh,
Poets, dramatists, etc. Hmm.
yeah. Does this classification
Mhm.
overlap, or
Hmm.
they have certain separation that from this
Mhm.
that
When we talk about the classifications that are based on dates, then
dates?
we have
Yeah.
certain dots, Ravi, like from here to here. Suppose we talk about Victorian age. So this is the age of reign of Queen Victoria. That was 1837 to 1901. So the age of Queen Victoria is classified as the Victorian period in history of English literature. When we talk about the Elizabethan age, then the reign of Queen Elizabeth, this is a certain dot, and then there is one more certain dot. So these two dots classify one certain period, but there are also examples when we classify an age in history of English literature on the basis of the most
Movements.
prominent author or the moment or the most prominent event. For example, the Restoration period and the age of Wordsworth or the age of T.S. Eliot or literature before the World War, literature after World War, and literature between the world wars. So there are many things, there are many ways that we can use to classify different patches, different periods in history of English literature.
Yeah, look, it means an S can be labeled by the time frame of
There are many
king.
time frames, Ravi. There are many time frames. There are many ways to label certain ages.
In the first way that the
It's pure history, like from this period to that period, from this year to that year.
yeah first that we label Elizabethan age.
Yeah.
It means
Generally, it begins from there only.
the reign of
Queen Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Hmm.
So when we talk about Restoration age, Romantic age,
Victorian age,
yes,
Puritan age.
yes, these ages
Neoclassical
refer
age.
to movement.
Yeah, some of them refer to moments, some of them refer to kings and queens, and some of them refers also to the most prominent figure in any
of
particular age.
age,
So those
yeah.
are very simple, viewers. When we talk about classification of ages in history of English literature, then it can be done in many ways. The first is pure history, timeline thing, like this year to that year. Second is the movement or any event that just had an emphatic effect upon that period or upon several years. And then the one is when we categorize by the most prominent literary figure. I think we have repeated many times and readers must have got it by now.
One more question, Alok.
Yeah,
How to choose most important
books.
book?
So you're talking about the books to study history of English literature.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, most of the times your university syllabus of the beginners who are starting to study history of English literature or literature in general, the beginners are given a syllabus in first year, and those syllabuses most of the times prescribe certain books. So you might get those books, and then other than that, other than those books, you have to get a basic book. The most important book that I would suggest, Ravi, other than those which are prescribed in the syllabus, is History of English Literature by Edward Albert. This book comes with a very, very minimalistic input, and it starts with a clear timeline that gives you an idea, an overview of the age, and it goes on describing things in very simplistic way that can be too comprehensive to enjoy, to read, and to learn by heart many things about history of English literature.
Apart from this book, would you like to suggest?
Apart from Edward Albert,
Yeah.
if the students are complete beginner, absolute beginners, then I would suggest also two books. The book that comes in two volumes by David Dyches, Critical History of English Literature, and then if a student is in advanced stages of studying literature, then English literature, sorry, then English literature by Kazamia will be very helpful because this book comes with intellectual inputs other than basic timeline, basic historical inputs. This book also comes with intellectual inputs that will help them raise their understanding of different issues covered in history of English literature.
Yeah, in this way, we have history of English literature for different phases.
Yeah, different phases and different levels of
of
studies.
Studies.
Different levels
For
of studies
beginners,
have and
for
should have. They
masters.
must have different approaches at different levels. We must have that. So that suppose someone who is studying history of English literature with a viewpoint to qualify in the NET examination, so they have to view, they have to study, they have to approach this thing with a very different mindset. Suppose someone is beginner, they have to get a basic idea.
They need more information.
Yeah, they need,
Who-
those who are trying to qualify for NET examination, they need information, they need objective information,
Objective
and for that I
information.
think David Digest will be more than sufficient. And then someone who is needing intellectual inputs, suppose someone is preparing for UPSC or other examinations, those require written answers, long written answers, so they must go through this Kazamia book. And someone who is a beginner, they should go through Edward Albert. And then if you want to venture into the depths of the realms of English literature, then you can also get those Pelican guides. I think those are very rare these days. Or you can also get the books that come, that come with certain social context.
Yeah, well, Alok, The last question,
Yeah.
but very important.
Mhm.
Uh, how to make English literature employable?
See, Ravi, this question needs many intellectual wrestlings and many debates and many discussions. English literature in present context should be and must be made employable. Right now, if you are a fresher who has a literature degree, graduation degree,
Yeah.
you go into the market and you're thrown into a competition for which you are not capable because you just have literary ideas stuffed into your mind which are mostly unripe because you're just a fresher, you're just a graduate, you don't have those depths, you don't have those levels of understanding that is required to do something extraordinary. So you are just a beginner with a graduation degree, and the jobs that you can get is as a teacher, as a journalist, or as a writer of electronic content, web content, digital content. So to do anything, you need either a diploma or a degree or a special training. So with a plain graduation degree, all you can get is some basic jobs that pay you very little. So the very natural course that students of English literature with fresh graduation degree take is to get more education. And this is sadly the most taken path.
So it is time to a
It is
drastic
high time.
change.
It is high time, Ravi, that we need to make this study or make this course or make this degree more and more job oriented, industry oriented, and employable. So that as graduates with mathematics degree, graduates with science degree, graduates with literary degree in any other language like Hindi literature, Sanskrit literature, Urdu literature, Hindi literature, or any literature for that matter, they are simply not very much employable other than being a teacher with a special training, 2 years or 3 years more. I don't know, I'm very sure about that. Or you can be a journalist with certain diplomas, you can be a content writer with certain training. So to do anything, you need either some training or some diploma or some special training courses. So why did you opt for this thing? So this is a question that we all need to sit with our heads down and hands on the deck to do something important about it. And this is upon those who are sitting there in their air conditioned, cooled, or heated chambers, and they don't have to worry about jobs or anything. So they need to make this thing very serious. That if I am a fresher with a degree in English literature or any literature or any graduation degree that I have, I should get some job. I should get some very important or at least a basic job that can pay me a decent salary other than preparing for UPSC or other than getting some training, other than getting some diploma, etc., this, that, whatever. I need job,
Yeah.
and for that, this needs a very drastic change. Make traditional courses job oriented. This is my simple request to the authorities.
Thank you, Alok.
Mhm.
Our viewers must have benefited.
Yeah, but it's my pleasure. Ravi. I was thinking about this session, for a very long time, and I'm glad that you came all over from your job and you took some decent leave and you're here. So I would like to thank you as well because of you, this session could be interactive and helpful for the students, and I'm very sure that you, our dear audience, must have benefited from this session, as Ravi told, and I'll be doing more interactive sessions like this, and I also invite all your questions in the comment section. If you have some question about the best ways or any ways or anything related to English literature, history of English literature, literary theory, or anything that remotely or closely associates with the idea of English literature, then I, Ravi, and many others in our team are all ears. So just fire in your questions in the comment section, or you can write email to me directly. You can go to my channel's info and get my email address and write to me directly with whatever questions that you have. And we are here to help you, assist you, and make studying and reading English literature more fun and more convenient. Thank you.
Thank you.